Welcome. Let me know, do you want me to actually preferably be on this direction? Let's see. No, maybe not. This is gonna be the way to go. Hope you guys are doing well. I am about to have probably one of the last enjoyable sessions. It may look like it's really warm here, but it's like 12, 13 degrees. And I'm just gonna start with warm up, and then we are of course gonna do some freestyle. You, Andrew, let's freaking go. Danish community. I've been loving your edits lately. Freaking awesome. Bringing some high quality content to the Calisthenics community. So yeah, we'll see what I send it today. I haven't done freestyle in like 2 weeks, but I'm definitely peaking in like strength ratio. It's been, I think yesterday I did some of my cleanest front lever pull-up stuff, some of my best one-arm handstand. So I do feel pretty strong, but at a freestyle it's definitely been some time, and the correlation there is a bit different. Good morning. Yeah, so the time here at my place is 2 in the afternoon. I think it's the most optimal time for me to train, at least to get some heat. Yeah, like to get strong in skills and weight at the same time, for sure. I think there's always going to be a sort of choice you need to make, which one you would want to focus more on. At the end of the day, if you prioritize one skill, or uh, if you have a total amount of potential, pretty much, you can distribute that to different stuff. But of course, you can gain strength in both. However, if you focus on one at the same time, or one individual, I think you will see more progress. But the way I split is I start my sessions with the statics. That's what I want to progress most in, and then I end it with the weighted stuff, and that for sure has given me a lot of results, but mainly in statics. I'm all good, thank you. Never mind. God eftermiddag. Yes, Swedish as well. That's nice. Yeah, so you see, I'm doing some light warm up, and then some resistance band activations, and then you guys will be able to see some dynamics as well. This is the first time I do a live as well, so we are trying it out. If there's any technical problems, it's not on me. I have the first time privilege to just blame everything on that. No worries. And yeah, if you have any questions, it's always fun to just answer them. I think that's the beauty with live. YouTube is really nice in the sense that you do get pretty good engagement with the followers. But then again, everything is delayed. So if you ask a question and then I make a vlog like 1 week later, you might already got the answer on your question, or you already forgot that you asked it. Progress in the one-arm pull-ups. Yeah, so that one's pretty interesting. Something I haven't trained a lot lately, but I used to do a lot in the past, and I do coach a little bit in it. But for one-arm pull-up, one part is just being in general strong in sort of weighted and your normal pull-ups. So if you're really strong in weighted, that's going to be a good transfer in general, just lat strength and the scapular engagement. But then you do need to do some specific work. So negatives is one thing. If you're that I would say is a little bit high level, but doing negatives really gets you going and engaging the position. And then the other thing is for resistance band, for example, really helpful. And then there is one hell of exercise that is in some gyms, they have these machines where you can basically stand on a platform and you can choose a certain amount of weight you want it to help you with. So you can basically stand there and you have the feet on it, you have the pull-up bar above you, and you will get a certain amount of help. So if you have access to a gym, then that's one hell of a exercise to try out. But at the end of the day, it comes down to simulating the actual skill you want to train for. I'm all good, thank you. And a set of banded one-arm pull-ups. Nice, yes, definitely. So 2 sets of weighted pull-ups, 1 set of banded, pretty low volume. Maybe do it over and over again. But for sure, weighted gives you a lot of strength, but not so much in the nerve system engagement. But for the one-on-ones with band helps a lot for that part. Same as if you would train for planche or any other skill. It's like one thing being really strong in shoulders, you have your straight arm, but at the end of the day, you really want to be in the position to transfer that strength in a helpful way. I probably won't post a freestyle video this week. I wanted to give this a try, but I am gonna post a vlog on in the middle of next week. It's gonna be a front lever session for that one, and then in like 1 week time, I'm going to Spain actually to meet up with the Gornation team and a lot of other athletes like Christoph and yeah, some well-known names there. So we're gonna do a lot of content together. Gornation is launching new products, new clothing. I'm really hyped for. I don't think I'm even allowed to say it right now what they're launching, but one thing is regarding longer pants, which it's like been on my bucket list for so long, and they're finally launching it. So we're gonna go there, do some photo shoots, and be there for a few days. So I'm gonna vlog that as well. My plan for today's session is first off land the basics. So that is going to be the just double 360s, some shrimp, alley-oop gangers. And then depending on how it feels, I'm probably going to see if I can land the frisbee. I haven't done that in so freaking long. So that is going to be talking instead of warming up. But we get multitasking. You also hear my microphone pretty well. I hope that should be all right. Then we have here the handstand, learning that one. If it's good to do back against the wall or stomach. If you're a complete beginner, I will say that stomach against the wall is a pretty scary position because you don't have too much margin and you're pretty much forced to fall forward. So therefore I would say if you do back against the wall, of course it promotes a little bit of arching if you do that and you have the wall here, but I would still say that's more safe zone and you can get really comfortable with getting used to kicking up the amount of speed you need. And yeah, I would recommend back to wall in the beginning, and then when you feel comfortable also with falling, I would say that the stomach to wall is better at simulating and better to get the core engaged in a proper way. And the same for handstand push-ups. Like if you do handstand push-up back to wall, really good for just building that strength. But if you want the actual proper simulation of a handstand push-up, it would be better to do stomach to wall. How do you do slow muscle ups slowly? A lot of false grip, that's the key component. So training a lot of wrists, getting really strong and comfortable here. And then I would do to be honest, like super negative ones. So being comfortable in negatives and have tension all the way. And when you're able to do that, you can also do the negatives all the way to the point where you feel like, okay, here I can actually press up. And then you learn to go a little bit deeper. And the moment you pretty much are able to go the bar or the chest underneath the bar and be able to press up, you should be able to do a slow one. We'll see. After I warmed up and stuff, I can show some other things. A lot of comments, so I'm happy you guys are engaged. When are you going exactly? I can tell you I'm going on the 17th. I will be there all the way until the 20th. And we are going to have a meetup in Alicante. So if anyone is in Spain or in Alicante, you're more than welcome to come. How to increase freestanding handstand push-ups from 1 to 5 reps. I would definitely say it's a combination of strength and balance. For some people, especially if you come from a gym background or you're really strong in shoulders, sometimes it, to be honest, isn't that much about the strength, but more about actually being comfortable in the handstand. So I would say find your weakness if it's that you're losing balance on the top part. So if you're doing a handstand push-up, you can come down here and you're able to press all the way here and then you just fall at the last part. I would say it's more actually about the handstand and being more comfortable there than what is actually pure strength. Because the hardest part is for sure the bottom part and getting that momentum upwards. Hello everyone. Awesome. I am gonna grab a resistance band. put you guys here. Hope it doesn't fall. Most goated stuff for sure. The resistance bands for both warm-ups and for skill training. You guys are very wide though. But yeah, after this I'll be doing freestyle, which is going to be a bit more entertaining. I'm assuming within 10 minutes I'll be doing at least my first combo. But resistance band, really awesome. I tend to warm up a lot of shoulders, even though the freestyle is mainly pull. I always feel like stiff in the shoulders. I want to do some planche as well, engagement, so it's just good to be on the safe side. And one thing, I'm not going to do it today, but what I usually do as well for warm-up is to get the heart rate up a bit. So either having some like skipping rope or do some light running or something more intense, that also helps. Because then once you do pretty much combos and you're already sort of used with a higher heart rate, it helps a lot. Otherwise I tend to get really gassed out pretty fast. Just doing a few reps now is like losing my breath, and we are like 10 kg resistance band. Do we have any more questions? How old am I? I am 22 currently, and I am turning 23 years old in 6 days to be precise. So the day before we're going to Spain. And it might shock a few of you guys, but yeah, I am born 2002. And my beard probably adds a few years to my look, which is a little bit of psychology as well. What I learned past years is if you ever want to provide service, value, whatever you do, it's always helpful to just look like you're older than you actually are, because people will take you more seriously. Same in the gym. The moment I start to have like my beard and just start to act a bit older, you gain much more respect from people. And respect at the end of the day, it's all you want. You would come really far from that. Hello, Dr. Yad. Welcome. Privileged to have you here. I'm excited for your tendons video. I will for sure look at it when you're launching. Let's see. Tips for front lever. I can hold straddle with a light band. Nice. Yeah, so for front lever, I would definitely recommend the half flay. It's in my opinion very underrated. It's not too well spoken about, but the half flay front lever, it just simulates the engagement so much in the core that the straddle just doesn't do. Like you of course have the height of the hips, but that proper engagement with your pelvic tilt and everything pretty much, that engagement is just so brutal. Same for planche as well. The half flay is really nice because you have this section just simulates the full one. If the full planche and front lever is your end goal. But that is what I would say would help the most. So give it a shot with half flay, then doing some dynamics as well, dynamic movements. So not only doing holds, but maybe trying to add some, let's say half flay races, maybe even full ones with a little bit of momentum can also add to it, just to engage your body in a different way. Because one thing I found with my own training, but that I would say just thing you can apply for most things, is that the moment you hit a plateau, don't always try to overcomplicate it. Just try and switch up a few things and see how you react. It's not always about just, okay, this will always be the best exercise. Just give it a shot, see how your body reacts to it, and then you can switch it up or keep it if it's needed. That's why, to be honest, my training for a long time has been looking roughly the same, because I've been getting tons of results with the way I'm doing. So I'm not saying it's the perfect program for everyone, but currently I found it to progress with my training really well, and therefore I'm keeping it. So don't be afraid of doing too similar stuff for too long either, as long as you're getting results. Let's let's see some other comments. How many times per week I train? That is about 5 times, 6 times if I do a freestyle like today. Nice, 22 years old, have birthday tomorrow. Congrats in forehand. Yeah, I am very young. Do the 1 hour front lever walk. I might go for that one. Just need some freestyle first. The skills I'm working to unlock more is the straight bar Maltese. That for sure I want to have more solid so I can pull it off like almost a planche. But for sure a bit more warm up than that. And then the other thing is planche press. It's just been a weakness for a really long time. So now it's freaking time to grind that one, which I'm doing. Why do heavy workouts affect my sleep? It might be, yeah, so if you train pretty late, then it also comes down to when you're eating and everything, but just training very, very late, and you would preferably want to be relaxing for the few hours before you go to sleep. So let's say you train late, you also tend to eat very late, and going to sleep with just full stomach. There are, of course, all factors to a bit worse sleep. So if you train that late, I would say try and have a bigger meal before, and only have some more protein-based stuffs in the later, but that is not too heavy on the stomach. Oh, Victor, hello. Glad to have you from the community as well. Let's go. Yeah, the coffee kicks in. I had a energy drink with some caffeine. Negatives. Yeah, negatives for sure. And yeah, reverse deadlifts also helpful. Awesome. Now I feel pretty alright. Not the best warm up, but the point today wasn't to have the perfect session, but to share it with you guys as well. We are gonna unwrap the mats. And I actually want to give you guys a quick story. I hope, can actually someone ask me or write if the audio is the same, because I want to know, is the audio the same if I talk like this over here? Because I want to know if my microphone is connected or not, because sometimes I do have some problems with it. If someone can just write if it's all right, like a thumbs up or something. Thank you so much. Then we know. I'm gonna tell you the story about the mats. First mat I actually got was from my high school. I had the sports teacher. He was interested in the sport I was pursuing, so I asked him if I could buy one of these school mats for like a pretty cheap price. But he actually turned out to be so happy that I was gonna pursue calisthenics that he gave me one mat. So the first mat I got was actually for free. And I will tell you, if you have good mats, it allows you to send the freestyle much better. Otherwise, you're pretty cooked if you're not landing right. Oh, it's so freaking wet on the ground here. It's crazy. This, just a mattress, no backstory to it. So yeah, the blue one I did get from my school. And then we have this bad boy. This was actually from a police school. And we had a similar setup, not as good, but my friend had a similar setup. And he was actually the one to buy this from a police, I think it was a police department where they did trainings. So I think the price, like 500 euros. Yeah, 500 euros, which was pretty decent because these ones tend to go up to like 2,000 euros almost. Crazy. So definitely worth it. I think the color coding could be a bit nice. I would like them to be like, imagine having them gray. That would be really nice for content. But this will do. All right, setup is ready. We're freaking 50 people here. Crazy. Glad all of you guys are joining. It's gonna be a bit more interesting now as well, since we are starting the combos. Let's just see if we have any more questions. It's not my backyard actually, it's my friend. I used to, that's another long story, but I was raised on a farm actually with my yeah, family, and we did build a similar setup but with like wooden poles. However, they did sell it a while back, so now we did build this I think 2 summers ago, and this is a better setup as well. So either way we probably would have transferred here, but this is my friend's backyard and he's away now, but yeah, he's kind enough to borrow it whenever I want to train here. Appreciate all the support. Yeah, so when it comes to training, probably working out earlier would be one thing, or if you're forced to train really late, then definitely one thing, stick away from caffeine and then try to eat a bit lighter afterwards. And you could also do something to just lower your stress levels, for example. So if you're working out really late, then really take a chill after. But I think it's always a hard thing with sleep. It's a lot of factors that can sort of change it. All right, let's start off with some light combos. I usually just do really warm up, and that is like some swings, some 180s, and then some gainer, just to get some engagement, getting some stretch in my shoulders. And then afterwards, we'll do some lighter variations. Feels good though. Pretty good height. The weather isn't too cold, so the bar isn't too bad. In winter when we train here, we always need to pour water onto the bar, and then it works, but it's still not optimal. How can I be so good at statics with my height? A lot of training, a lot of prioritizing the sort of right muscle groups as well. I think that's one thing. At the end of the day, like weight and height plays a major role, of course, but proportions is even more important. So if I'm able to focus all my training on the proper muscles that, for example, planche involves, then ultimately my body will move to a pretty much proportion that allows me to perform those skills, even if it may take a little bit longer time. Oh, I really need to train with speaking while I'm a bit fatigued. Yeah, cold shower, it can definitely help a bit. It would be better though in the morning. I think like in the evenings, like sauna for example, would be the better option, whereas cold usually tends to kickstart you. But yeah, I would recommend sauna more. Benefits of Gornation parallettes. Much more expensive than other brands. Yeah, one thing with Gornation I really enjoy is the quality. I don't know if you guys have seen my like Instagram stories, or videos as well, but I literally abuse them. I've been training underwater, I've been having them outside during winter, I've been having it in the gym. I literally have my parallettes currently inside the gym, where anyone, like literally people every single day are using them, and they still work fine. So I would say the quality, and if I can recommend one, I would say metal parallettes is the best one. I think they're also actually the cheapest, like 99. And then if you use, for example, my discount code, I think it's 10 euros discount. So let's say 90 euros, pretty much precisely. which is pretty good. They are gonna hold up for a really long time. But yeah, definitely a bit more expensive. If like the price is a problem, I would say most products are, you know, pretty like worthy in what you can use them for, but you of course pay for quality, the branding, and yeah, I love them. So if the price isn't the problem, I would strongly recommend them. Ice ball combo, holy fuck. Yeah, the OG skill. We'll see. Probably starting off with my frisbee though, and that one we are definitely doing. But now let's stop chit chatting and move on to the actual freestyle. I don't know why this happened, but this is my second chalk now in 2 days. I just got a new chalk to the gym, and for some reason every time I bring a new chalk to the gym, I lose it. Like I forget it in the gym. It's literally happened like 3 times in a row. it's fucked. But yeah, new chalk. At least if I forget it here, I know that no one is gonna steal it. And I'm also gonna remove the watch, because in freestyle I always tend to land. A lot of times I can land here and then re-grab it, but either way the wrist takes a hit and the watch will be an expensive hit. Let's start off. I think double 360 as a warm-up. I will see how that one ends up. Oh yeah, light. Freaking out of screen. I failed the landing, if someone wondered. Landed on all fours. But it felt good. Freaking lightweight. That's the benefit though with being a little bit leaner. When I am at my heaviest and my fat percentage is a little bit higher than usual, I tend to freestyle like shit. Do you use creatine? Yes, I do. I have, I think it's around 6 grams per day. It did go in periods. If I could choose, I would take it every day. But sometimes the truth is that I forget as well. So on paper, it's not every day, but I do aim for it. No hate, but you can buy Grenation exact copy from China, 15 to 20. Yes, I know also Grenation, a lot of people are saying it's like drop shipping, but that's not the case. They do have their own sort of delivery for it. But yeah, you can buy, they have, you know, copied the same pictures, and I think it's the wooden ones you're talking about. So yeah, there are definitely, you know, drop shipping stuff out there, but the Grenation ones are the real ones, and they're not doing drop shipping. But I understand why people ask it. However, I would say at the current state, if someone asked me if I could recommend one pair, it would be the metal parallels, for sure, the favorite ones. What is your weight? I weighed myself actually yesterday, and it was 90.9 in the afternoon. So I would assume it's actually around 90. And yeah, that's a weird part. Like for the past 8 years, my weight has been constantly going up. I'm just getting chubbier and chubbier, I assume. All right, time for another combo. I think we'll go for the double 360 one more time, and then do a giant and some Gengar. See how we hold up. And yeah, the microphone, we hope, still stays on. Just realized that you might not actually see everything there. Boom. Combo time. Not too bad. I don't know what I'm gonna do. pretty alright. Remember, I'm not doing this, I'm doing this without music. I don't even know if I can have music. But yeah, that was 90 kg bar held up, pretty alright. I'm 80, yeah, 90 kg. Probably majority of weight also up here. My legs are, you know, they're not like super small, but I don't train them. So for sure a higher weight distribution, which is nice in freestyle as well, because then the sort of center of mass is not moving as drastically, and definitely beneficial for statics. Yeah, the music, I'm not sure. I don't have any speaker now, but that would definitely be nice for future. For calorie intake, I've had a watch as well to track me for some time, and it tends to be around like 2,800 roughly for maintenance. Depends a bit on how hard I train, and in general I try to eat around like 3,000 calories every day. So that's also of course why I'm gaining a bit, but I'm training really hard now, so I do want my recovery to be as good as possible. Ice ball, we'll see. I haven't done ice ball in probably 1 year now, but the planche on the bar we're definitely gonna do. And I do cardio from time to time. I did a bit more in the summer. Now I've slacked it a little bit, but that's also because I did a bit more cardio. I had a race where I was running it's like 15 kilometer run. And then, yeah, I train of course a bit for that. Now I'm focusing more on statics, where, you know, it's not like I'm in need of losing any weight, or that's not my goal. So I'm not adding really cardio for that purpose. Sometimes I just do it for fun. And then I realize it's not that fun. I do eat 3 meals, like main ones. I have breakfast, dinner, and a breakfast, lunch, and dinner, the normal ones. And then I do tend to have like a protein shake, protein bar, and yeah, sometimes a snack in the evening as well. But about 3 main ones and maybe 1 or 2 extra, just intakes of protein tends to be. I have never had tennis elbow. Which skill? I'm working towards the planche press. I do have 1 planche press, but I want to be able to drive 3 and be able to do mid combo. But yeah, and never had tennis elbow. Back lever Hefesto, good question. I don't know. I have done it in the past, but haven't trained for it and haven't performed it in a long time. So today I really been slacking on my warm-up, so I'm not going to attempt it. But that would be nice to try someday, where I've had some proper warm-up, because it's definitely not a move you just full send. Awesome. Should we go for something more interesting? I am thinking about doing something with the shrimp 540. That's a pretty good one. 540 in general has been one of the skills I failed a lot, but I think we can give it a go. I've got some decent amount of rest. A little bit sloppy. I'll give it 1 more shot. So much dirt as well on the mats. I think I don't get the hips high enough. Give it a quick break and give it 1 more shot. The only hard part now, I should have actually 2 cameras so I can record myself as well. That's the key thing in freestyle, to be able to see what you're doing wrong. injury city for a festo, it for sure is. Yeah, back lever festo, it for sure puts a lot of pressure, and it requires progressive training towards it. So even if I have Maltese, probably have significant strength here, it's still a risky move. So therefore, yeah, it's definitely not worth just going for. My favorite skill? It's a good question. Like, I think it varies from time to time. I enjoy planche when I'm really strong, and I love front lever almost all the time. But the one there where I really feel joy, and I add it a lot of times, is actually the one-arm handstand. And one-arm handstand, I also, like, to a certain degree, I did get pain in lower back, but it's one of those skills that I can add it a bit more regularly without it draining me too much. Whereas, for example, planche, even if I love it, I can't do it, you know, full send every single day. It just would go downhill. Whereas one arm, I do a few sets almost every session, so it tends to be about like 5 times per week, and it tends to almost always improve. Appreciate that, Yad. Glad that you're enjoying it. It's like the first time trying the live, and just glad to be able to spread value. Because here live is like no edits, so I'm not able to cut if I make a mistake. Then you get to see it as well, which is of course the reality part of it. Advice for taller people: I would really focus on finding weakness. What I found from a lot of coaching clients is that all the taller ones tends to be a bit weaker in scapula. So at the end of the day, when they focus more on the isolation of the protraction and they get that right, they tend to be much stronger in the planche. So that has sort of been the, let's say, bottleneck, that when they focus on protraction, a lot of other things fall into place. Because like, it's also crazy, a lot of taller people that I've seen train, they're insanely strong in like shoulder strength. They're pretty strong in straight arm as well, and they have this section. But if you don't have that scapula and you sort of think of protraction the wrong way, so you don't really get the depression of the shoulder, and you don't really get that height, it almost doesn't matter how strong you are, because you won't be able to sort of get the full tension throughout the body. I definitely enjoy staying in Bulgaria. It was a really nice event for the World Championship. Awesome. Okay, let's give it a try again on the Shrimp 540. See if I landed or not. Some days also with freestyle, you just gotta accept that some skills are not there. Like I don't know how to say, but sometimes even a 360 can be off, and it's not always worth just putting tons of time onto it. Then it's better to just move on to a new one and hope that it goes better. And unfortunately, some days everything is shit, and then it just sucks. Oh, close. I'm gonna do more statics later, but pretty alright. The 540, I think I'm getting it wrong with the hip. I'm kicking too fast, so my hip is too close to the body. You guys are, of course, the only ones to see it, but that's what it felt like. But we landed it, so I'm gonna check that off. I would still point the finger to the 540 gods and move on. Planche and one arm is my dream. They for sure are real nice. Also the combination of them, like to be able to, like one arm handstand down to planche, clean stuff. When am I collabing with Ian Barsegal? Arm wrestling would be interesting. I actually got that question if I think I would be able to beat Ian, and I don't think so. I think he has more experience. He's also a little bit bigger, or weighs a little bit more. So I think everything adds up, and I have gone to a few arm wrestling clubs just to get some help and feedback, and it's really enjoyable as well. And I really understand the technique there, how much it matters. And I also understand that I don't have technique. So if I would get a bit better there, probably my potential to beat better people as well would increase. But for now, I think he would beat me. But at least I can planche longer, so I win in something. And yeah, collab in general with him. I don't know. I don't know if he attends too many sort of meetups and events. So then it's a bit hard. Maybe at some point for some type of content would definitely be interesting. Yeah, exactly. Ian is not a static athlete. He's spent a lot of years focusing on the reps and stuff, so he's a beast there. But like I said, especially if you're a heavyweight, it takes time to develop the proportions of a specific skill, especially the higher end ones like planche, Maltese. Front lever, I would say, is in between. A lot of heavyweights still tend to be able to perform it, but when you come to the real specific ones, it's freaking hard. Notice that protraction with depression is harder than if I let them shoulders elevate a little. It is also a little bit of, preference, but if you're really strong in some parts, like if you're much stronger in, for example, shoulders as a beginner, or you're starting with that, and you don't have the proper protraction, what that means is that your lean is probably going to be increased, and that will increase the angle on your shoulder, making it harder. So you will distribute some of that strain from scapula in general to your shoulders. And then if your shoulder is actually a stronger muscle than proportional to your scapula, it will feel easier because your body will be comfortable there. So at the end of the day, your goal will always be to try and distribute the overall load on as many muscles that you can use as possible, because then the overall load per muscle will be decreased. So the proper form will lead to a increased potential of the perfect hold. But in the beginning, you might be stronger in different parts, meaning that some sort of variations with form might feel easier than others, because you're just distributing that strength. Is your reason for being such a high weight purely for the physique? No, definitely not. Like I said, everything comes down to proportion, and as long as I keep gaining strength, if I add more shoulder mass, if I add more biceps, triceps, these key components that will increase my static game, that ultimately will mean that I had to put on some mass, and that is going to increase my weight. So since I pretty much stopped growing at this point in height, I'm just focusing now on how do I obtain the perfect physique for my height to pretty much help me as much as possible in the skills. And I think I don't know actually what my optimal weight and physique will look like. But what I know is that as I keep training these parts, I focus on the muscles and the skills I'm training for. If I increase in weight, well, let me increase. As long as I get stronger, I'm fine with that. And of course, there's going to be a point where I will start to stagnate in weight, and where I'm gaining more weight is probably just going to be unnecessary weight. For example, if I would get tons of massive chest, for example, it's not that many skills that involve, insane chest. And that would be something that's unnecessary. So as long as I gain weight in proper parts and things that contribute to my training, then I'm all good. So it's not only for physique. It's of course a side effect of it. But all right, let's give it a shot with some more combos. I would want to try double 360 to shrimp to 180 and then a tornado. And then I might add a like Ginger or alley open Ginger as well. I think it can look pretty sick. close one. A little bit too stressful in the shrimp. Shrimp is literally all about, you get that hip up, you need to wait. The moment you think like, if I kick now, I'm probably gonna hit my head, that's when you kick. And then you most likely get that insane good height and land it. Now I kicked while my hip was still moving backward, and that is just gonna lead to not enough height. Just grab a quick rest, and we're gonna do that again. This one we will definitely land. I did do lower back lifts. I did some deadlifts, some isolation for lower back, mainly when I had a sort of injury, but it's not really something I prioritize now in my training, but I have incorporated it when I have felt like that is my weak spot. When it comes to making plans for kids, not really my target group. Like the honest truth is that some parts you do is, you know, for business side, some parts is for community building. YouTube, for example, I love to do because I can spread value despite your age, despite if you have money or not. One-on-one coaching I do because I of course need to make an income, and thereby the price a bit higher. I have a school community, for example, where I do prioritize making as much value as possible for the lowest possible price, where of course I still get something for my time. But that one is also meant to just be able to help as many people as possible without, you know, price being the problem. And thereby my target group, of course, is not kids when it comes to making plans and stuff, because it's a bit more specific, and yeah, it's a hard audience. But you know, if someone really would want me to do a plan for example, their kids to start some calisthenics, then you know, might be a one-time thing I do. So if you're serious about it, then just write to me on like DMs, or yeah, I think DMs would be the best option. I can help you out with that. When it comes to creatine, I think so. I personally take creatine as well. It of course can add some light weight to it, but what I found is that it helps more than the weight sort of changes. And that's something to have in mind as well. Like the benefit with being a heavyweight is that if I add 1 kg or 2 kg to my body, that percentual difference is pretty small. So if I take creatine, it increases my, you know, strength with a certain percentage, for example. I'm not a scientist, I don't know the statistics behind it, but if I increase, you know, half a kg, 1 kg in weight, that is such a small percentage. It is, let's say it would be 100 kg, then it would be 1%. And now it's just slightly less. But if I increase my strength with just more than 1%, then in theory that would mean that it's a beneficial change to incorporate. So that's one thing with being a heavyweight, that small weight changes, it's not that drastic in a percentual view of things. Training statics variations or training dynamics will unlock statics. I would not say that it's a, you know, direct translation. It of course, like from my freestyle, it helps me a lot with strength, and I get pretty used to being a little bit of weird positions, but it's definitely not a clear translation to any static training. All right, let's just give it a go with another combo. So we're gonna try the double 360 to shrimp, and yeah, the continuing one that I failed. Forget what I said, that was a mistake. Whew. That was so fucking sloppy. Holy crap. And the first 360 was just, sometimes when I do a 360, I get good height. It's just that sometimes I just forget that I should swap and do the normal one. But not too bad. I give it one more try, because it is one combo that I for sure should be able to do. I am 184. It's been a little time since I measured myself, but 184 was the last time I don't know if have grown or maybe decreased in size, but I do think I'm about 184 at least. I don't know what that is. I think 6'2" might be around the right one. Yeah, there's the translations for it. Would you recommend whey? Yeah, for sure. I personally take some protein as well for increased intake. Some days I just have a hard time to get it in from natural sources. I have my breakfast, something I really recommend, to just have a routine with breakfast. Either way, some people maybe think it's a really funny meal, but for me, I feel like breakfast, I can almost eat the same thing. So I just wake up, I do my 3 eggs, I do a protein shake, and sometimes a bit of quark, like high protein yogurt, and then that's it. And I know for a fact that I get 60 grams of protein every single morning. So that's something I enjoy. And then during the day, I don't always track calories and protein intake, but I get a rough estimate on the sort of overall. So I know for a fact, like, okay, I had chicken for lunch, it was roughly 300 grams. And then I will just know at the end of the day, do I need a protein shake at night or am I good? And I aim for about 2 grams of protein per kilogram of body weight. I don't play tennis really. My girlfriend plays tennis, so you might have seen me do something regarding it. But I basically just learned tennis to be able to have a sport to play with her. But I'm really bad at it, so I would definitely not be able to, coach someone in tennis. That would be crazy. But if it's someone, yeah, so if someone that plays tennis want to learn calisthenics, then it's something I could help with, but I would never be able to coach tennis. How to progress with statics? Yeah, so statics, like almost all skills, it's a combination of nerve system connection and strength. So take planche for example, you have the key components. You have straight arm strength, you have your shoulder, your ability to be able to press. Then you have the scapular engagement to be able to lead that force to your upper body and get that. And then you of course have core and lower back. Sometimes this tends to not be the most crucial part, but actually up here that people lack. And the way to combine it is to train the holes. If you're training for a skill, try and be in that and simulate that skill as much as possible. And then you find your weakness, and then you can isolate that at the end of sessions, for example. So you can add straight arm raises, for example, if this is your weakness. And whenever you do planche, you feel like you need to have bent arms, because if you have locked arms, it just doesn't work, for example. So it's really about, if you have that in mind whenever you train, if you simulate a skill as much as possible, then you're most likely contributing to becoming better at that skill. Thank you. We are going to give it one more try on the set. Yeah, let's do it first and we can continue with some questions. One more try on the 362 shrimp, or double 360. Oh yeah. I bet the sound for you guys is crazy on that one. Some might think that my hands are all gone, but they are good. Yesterday I did spend half an hour just grinding the hands, take a nail cutter, cut away all the accessory dead skin. Works pretty alright. That was fucking good. Calorie surplus. It is something that I personally take. Like I always eat more than I burn. Almost. Some days I don't track my calories, but now, especially when I accept that I don't have any competitions for a fixed amount of months, and at that point my goal is just to gain as much freaking strength as I can, and then I'd rather just eat, train my skills, focus on the